Hello, 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 hello. Hi guys. Welcome to another Daily 5. Today we are doing Warrior Pose. And I want to say hi to everybody that's joining me. I'm seeing a few of you guys already on Instagram. Jimmy, MX Melodious, Sirline, Liam, hello. Thanks for joining live, guys. I'll be starting the prompt soon. If you want to participate with me, this is the perfect time. These sessions are meant to just be kind of chill, laid back sessions where we paint together. The Daily 5 Challenge is a challenge that we're doing every month. We have a list of prompts, and every day we paint for a minimum of 5 minutes to keep building the habit of painting every day, but also keep the momentum and get better slowly. Liam, how do you find the hand slide glove? Maybe I need one for my iPad. If you're talking about this thing right here, it was coming with the tablet. This one is from Huion. It's an old one. If you're going on the Huion website, I know they sell it, but I'm pretty sure that if you're doing like drawing glove on Amazon or any other kind of marketplace online, you'll be able to find one. Super practical. Love to use it. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, don't be shy. You can say hello. Let me know if you hear the little jazz in the background. And yeah, I'll start sketching. Today I'm going to be doing... I don't know if I'm going to do a full character with colors. I might just do a bunch of sketches. I have my reference pictures right here that I found online to practice a little bit of anatomy, a little bit of action pose, and ultimately having like a warrior pose like. It's always fun to do some just quick sketches from time to time. This is the illustration that I did to promote the event. It was a very fun one to do, but we'll be doing something different today. So I might actually start with a blank canvas. How to find or create your own drawing style? Gantemar, that's a good question. It's a journey. The long answer, it's a journey. You need to study other artists, see what you like, try it for yourself, and over time, you will develop a style that you like. I think there's a misconception amongst artists when we are a young beginner artist that it's a bad thing. You should not copy other artists. That's not true. You should definitely copy them, but when you copy them, don't say it's your work. I think that's what people are like confused. It's perfectly fine to do studies of other artists for as long as they're there to help you and not steal their work. Liam, you think the bold girl is pretty cool? Yeah, she's got a lot of movement too. Let me put that back here. There's a very nice movement to her as well. I might do it. I forgot her name. I know she's the owner of I'll call it a business where they're giving. I think they're giving most of their reference pictures. You see a lot of those pictures, and yeah, I love what she does. So I'm happy to give it a go today. You're welcome, Gantumar. So yeah, why not start with her actually? I'll put the reference here. And I'm cold. I'm completely cold today, so I'm actually gonna do, I think, some quick gesture kind of pose practice for like getting warmed a little bit. What's fun with gesture drawing is you don't have to kind of overthink stuff. Although I tend to overthink a lot of my gesture drawing. I think it's a natural thing that most artists do. But you can just really, let me move that so you guys on Instagram can see. You can really just kind of go loose. And for as long as you have like a good flow, you'll be able to do some anatomy mistakes and it's gonna look fine at the end. These are not supposed to be anatomy. I think that's one thing that personally I had a misconception of for a long time. I thought that gesture drawing were like all about learning anatomy, and yeah, by doing some gesture drawing you'll definitely learn some cues of anatomy, but they're not meant for that. They're meant for understanding the flow, the gesture, the movement, the action, the points of tensions. Like in this case, I know I'm going to have a hard time with this very, very big short, foreshortening. I'm already out of time. I think that needs to be closer to, actually. I think it needs to be more here, kind of. And when you start doing gesture drawing, hi Dan, thanks for joining. When you're doing those, like my first one, what time is it for you, Segoya? It's 9 a.m. for me. What time is it for you? So when I'm doing these, usually my first ones are very slow. Like I'm very slow right now. And then you get some to have some confidence. You warmed up. Like there's such thing as warming up for real. Like when your hand is cold and you haven't done one drawing in the day, it takes more time. Don't judge the amount of time that it takes you. You'll only get frustrated and it's not going to help you get better at all. And that's it. That's pretty much a gesture drawing. I could just finish the foot here. Kublamo. Let's do another one. I'll create a new layer. I really like this guy. Like, I took him for like 7 p.m. You say, Segovia. Where are you from? Where is it 7 p.m. right now? Is it Pacific time? Yeah, it is Pacific time. No, it's ET time. Is it? Or it's Pacific time? Let me know. It's 22:07 for you, Dan. I'm assuming that's nice. So you must be on Eastern time as well. So yeah, doing this guy here. For people on Instagram, I'm gonna do the top one. I keep specifying if it's on Instagram or YouTube because I'm streaming at both places at the same time. Yeah, Chile, yeah. Yeah, I remember now. And I'm trying to have conversation with the both of you. Instagram and YouTube at the same time. It's a skill. I'm learning it slowly. So yeah, like when you're doing like a warrior pose, you can look for like sports in general. And this guy has a racket of tennis in his hands, but I could had a sword, and all of a sudden he's a warrior, you know? Right. You like the bow lady, Liam? Thanks for letting me know. UTS MR mad. 3 a.m. here. Oh my god. Are you a night owl or you just woke up? That's early. Really? Or maybe you're a new father. New mother. New father. New parent. Because I do have a newborn. Well, I guess it's a baby at this point. He's 9 months now. And we do have some very early morning. Thanks to him. Wolverine to Wolverine. I don't have a ref for Wolverine, unfortunately. Maybe next time. So yeah. I'm gonna do like a few warm up and then I'll show you guys like a proper step-by-step of how I do my gesture drawing with perspective as well. Just got off working, making dinner now. I see. I see. Well, thank you for joining. I've been doing these for like, I want to say like, I don't know, 8 weeks. Something like that, maybe less. But I'm enjoying it. I think I'm going to do more lives in the future. Chicken fettuccinis. That sounds delicious. So here's the thing here that I'm doing wrong is I'm focusing too much on the torso right here and I'm scared I'm going to lose the entire movement. I should just focus on gesture, and sometimes I think we all do that. We get caught into like the details of things. One knee here. The other knee is lower, kind of here, which tells me that I'm gonna twist this guy a little bit more. And twist that a little bit more here. This one is a tough one. Trying to get the right angle between the legs. Technically the foot is somewhere here. And then you have the other leg that kind of points a little bit more out. Something like that. Do you ever copy comic from comic books? I used to when I was when I was a kid, I used to buy some Marvel comics. My favorite one was the Hulk because of all the muscles. And yeah, I would try to copy them and see how I could do it. I was no near as passionate about illustration as I am today, though, so I was not going with the same focus or anything. But it was fun. And these days, when it comes to copying from comics or other artists, I try to learn from what I like from them and then apply it to my own style. Someone was asking earlier how to develop your own style. This is exactly how. You look at what they do and you kind of keep what you like, let go of what you don't. And with time, you'll develop your own style. I think we got this one. Do you use warp option or do you properly use it? Each time I use it, the whole thing gets ruined. The warp option. You mean like the warp transform tool here, like this, something like that? I use it from time to time, depending on what I do. Not for these though. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I would like kind of transform things and move things. So yeah, it depends how you use it, I guess. If you guys are on YouTube, by the way, I'm having a conversation with people on Instagram, but I'm also able to have a conversation with you guys on YouTube if you are there. So yes, that. I don't use the warp tool much these days. I use the liquefy tool a lot more. Here. Let's do this guy, top one. I use the liquefy tool whenever needed. But the warp tool, I use it for like adding like logos, stickers, or different things to like let's say you're making like a sign, you want typography on it. I think the warp tool is really good for this. Transform tool as a general. But otherwise I don't use it much. Next, female gesture, please. Yeah, I think I got another lady there. I can definitely try that. So I'm gonna do like maybe another couple of gesture, and then I'm gonna do a few more, but focusing more on perspective. That's another thing, you know, when you're doing like characters, we tend to focus on all the anatomy and bits and parts, but there's a lot of anatomy that needs to be also created. Sorry, what did I say? Anatomy? Perspective. There's a lot of anatomy that needs to be created with perspective in head. So it's also very important. Can I have the other arm place under? Here I have a twist motion. MR Mad, you can find these live videos on YouTube. So right now I am on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. And the recording will stay on YouTube afterwards. You can go check the ones that I had last week and the week before. And we had also like a workshop, portrait workshop, I want to say a week ago. And it's still there if you missed it. And I'm going live like this every Wednesday to do the Daily 5 Challenge. And if you haven't participated yet, I'm inviting you officially to come and participate. We're doing a prompt like this every day to get the momentum going. And usually I'm doing like more rendered piece. I might render a piece today. I just want to start with some quick gesture. So there was some masking for ladies. I think I don't have many, but I think I got this one that I really like. The pose. Very warrior looking as well. So I might try that. For all of you on YouTube, please let me know in the chat if you are there. I wanted to start maybe seeing if I can transform these sessions, which are not meant to teaching. They're meant for me to participate in the challenge, and kind of hang out with you guys. But I was thought that maybe we could transform them into like having like a theme to them. Thanks, Amarmad. Appreciate it. So a theme to them. So I was thinking that we could talk about things like, I don't know, how to build a portfolio or any other subject that my brain is not able to think right now. So we can have just honest conversation about it. You're welcome, Amarmad. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, maybe portraiture, we could do portfolio today. Such as what you should put in there or whatever. We can have a conversation about it. I got stuff to share, and maybe some of you guys in the chat with me have stuff to share too. Alright, this one there's some foreshortening, which is hard for me. I think I might just start with a circle to help me. And twist motion, and then I think I'm gonna go with some more gestural looking kind of the perspective is wrong here. Like categories of different things like figure drawing and painting and style and standards. Liam, what do you refer to? Like the theme of talking or the portfolio you mean? Hello Celestine, welcome back. Dan, last practice I use a colors for the structure. What do you mean by that, Dan? Yeah, this This one's a tough one. I might just keep it just more gestural. Like different things you want to make. Again, sorry, Liam, I don't follow. What do you mean? Like things that you want to make and add to your portfolio? To teach people and break things down for people. As in me? What I want to teach? Is that what you're asking me? Because that's not exactly what I was saying. What I was saying is we could just have a theme for conversations for these sessions. Otherwise, sometimes I start painting and I lose track of things, and I thought we could have like a predefined theme for the daily sesh. This one is much harder. There's a lot of foreshortening on it. Reference picture. Yeah, here it is, my man. Monk mode. I'm doing this lady right now. Having a hard time doing it, actually. Yeah. Sometimes there's like reference pictures that you can just see the movement and the flow, and you do 2 lines and they look amazing. And there's just sometimes you're like, everything looks bulky and just can't find the rhythm into them. Yeah. And that's one of them. Knee should be placed higher, actually. That's the thing I like to do sometimes. I place the knee and then I just kind of connect. Helps with like the distance between the two. Then I want to understand the movement lines, and I used different colors for the first structure. I see. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. That's a great way to actually study, and having like different colors and stuff. Very tough one. Not my favorite. Next. I like this guy. See, that's one that I think I'm gonna have some ease for you guys on Instagram. I'm gonna do the top one. When there's like just like a very easy gesture line, either for the torso or something, and it's just kind of very gestural, right away it adds so much. What's the word for it? Flow, movement, gesture. I think it was Proco at some point that was suggesting to his students to do like, I think it was like 100 a day. And it's like, how good are you going to be after 100 a day for like a year? And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea. But I couldn't set myself to do 100 of those a day. I prefer to do like, you know, pieces with colors. Can you do a live on drawing same character in different perspective? Yes. But let me rephrase that, yes. I do different lives here. These are meant to be during the Daily 5 challenge. And so I'm following the prompt of the day. But I also do some more structured, should I say, lives in the Digital Painting Academy. And these are meant to teach my techniques and give homeworks and exercises to my students. But this session today, it's really just me participating with you guys in the Daily 5 challenge. I'm hoping you guys are participating at the same time. Today we are doing the warrior pose because it is the prompt of the day. I'm also going to be on a live on the 11th. That's, I believe, on Sunday, where I'll be doing, it's also warrior pose, but I'm breaking down this live to teach about how things that I see, kind of the baseline of my technique, especially when it comes to adding perspective to your characters. If you're interested in that, all you have to do is to be part of the DPA. There is a link inside the DPA. And if you cannot be there live, it's not a problem, because you'll be able also to get the replay when you are a member. Lolo, 100 turns into 1, yeah. Yes. But I like the idea of doing like more gesture drawing. You know what it is though? As I try to obviously promote myself and Paintable on a weekly basis, these kind of grayscale gesture drawing are never doing very well on social media. Color pieces are doing a lot better, so it's hard to do 100 and then having nothing but grayscale sketches to promote yourself. It's just a reality of things these days. So there's a bit of that. All right, I think that's it for the warming up. I think I'm going to probably render one that I'm interested and transform that into a warrior. Let me see. What do we have? Hey, Kushal. Thanks for joining me live on YouTube. So I want to do one. I kind of really like this guy. I think I would have a lot of fun painting this kind of skirt thing. There's a little bit of movement in the air. The muscles are always fun to draw. I tried this guy at some point, but the foreshortening of the hand is a nightmare, and I like to have no nightmares. I think I'm gonna go for something chill, like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go this guy. that's going to be the one I'm going to render today. So, new layer. Your color and shading tricks, Liam. Yeah, well, if you join a DPA, I created some very nice step-by-step teaching you everything that I know, and I put it in a very nice learning path that you can follow up. All there for you to see. He looks a bit like an airbrush movie poster. Yeah, it's true. Let's see what we can do with him. What I'm going to do before is just as a practice. Like, I don't have to do this when I'm doing my characters studies like this, but I'm going to do it for this one. I'm going to just try to break down the perspective, and I'll try to bring the reference for you guys on Instagram on the board, so you see what's happening. But I'm going to try to just think about the torso as a kind of a like a prism, and there's a pinch in it, and I think does something like that. I think that's one of the things that I'm having a hard time sometimes. Procode calls them RoboBean, and I keep talking about Procode because I really think that when it comes to anatomy, he did such a great job sharing his work. You know what I think? I think the buck should be on the opposite direction. Actually, it's more like a curve like this, with kind of a pinch at the same time. Yeah. It's like the back here, and there's like a bit of a pinch there. Trying to imagine the torso like this just helps to understand the a perspective. And then there's the perspective of the head, which ultimately could even be protrude as a kind of a cube for now. And all of this I'm not going to use, by the way. This is just me thinking about the things that are happening. I feel like his hips are turning towards us, almost front. So you would have like the bucks of the hips that is like front of us. And then you would have kind of the leg right here, and then the other one goes into that direction, kind of like that. And then you can simplify the knee with a ball, and trying to think about, these cross contour lines help a lot. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Debbie. Hello. I'm definitely cooking. It's cooking time, man. It's cooking time. So yeah, I think doing this right here just helps to understand a little bit perspectives of things. I'm not caring too much about shapes of muscle right now. Actually, I care zero about it actually. I'm just caring about perspectives really. I think here there's a foreshortening, there's the arm that kind of goes at the back, and then probably you have the hair. I'm glad the hair of the character is in there because I'm not quite sure what's happening behind this. Probably gonna mask it with the hair. Oop. But that's the perspective of things. So yeah, I mean most of the legs will be covered also by the skirt, which will be fine. All right, now you know what, maybe I could start with this. Yeah, why not? I'm gonna put that in transparency and maybe slap another layer on top of it. Bring that closer. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, I thought we could have some open conversation in these lives. I think there was a question from someone last week, somewhere either in the tribe or somewhere, that was talking about portfolios, and I had a question about portfolios, so I thought we could talk about portfolios today. So if you have any question about portfolios, otherwise I guess I'll tell a story about my own portfolio. When I started building portfolio, I was actually a graphic designer. My first portfolio was about graphic design. Actually, my very, very first portfolio was back when I went to school. And obviously it was not illustration. It was all about graphic design at the time. I thought I'd be a graphic designer for the rest of my life. Dope. And it was almost like a arts and craft project. I silk screen printed the covers. I made silk screen cards to come for it, and I placed them all beautifully in the art show that we had at the end of the year. It was very nice at the time, and in it I put all the graphic design that I've done during the year. Big mistake. And I wanted to work for a company, a big marketing company back in Montreal. I think they're international, but they had like a bureau in Montreal called, I think it's Diesel, I think. And so I was super happy, super excited. I decided to take my portfolio. I showed up to the front entrance, talked to the secretary, and I was like, hey, you know, like I just graduated. Here's my portfolio. I would like for someone to, you know, review it. And I came, I think a week later, to pick it up. And I think it was exactly at the same spot I put it on her desk. Nobody ever looked at it. I was so disappointed. Or maybe someone looked at it and just thought the work was not as good as it needed. And the first lesson that I had from that was showing less is always better. Why? It's not about showing less, but showing the best work that you have. Do the rule of like always putting like something like 10 pieces of art that are the best in a portfolio that gives an idea of what you're doing. Is all you need to be able to tell a story about what you're doing as an artist. So that was one of the lessons that I learned that day. And since then, I tried to correct it with my illustration portfolio, which is not, to precise, my Instagram. Instagram is not a portfolio, guys. That's also a hard life lesson that I learned. Instagram is not a portfolio. Why it's not a portfolio? Because Instagram is a social media designed to make connections. And how is this working? Let me put that up. And the idea behind social media is truthfully to connect with people. What you're supposed to post there is your journey. Your journey. You want to show the good, the bad. It's not about being perfect. It's not about just your best work. It's about connecting. But when I started my first Instagram, I thought the opposite. I thought it was supposed to be my portfolio. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. Literally, the first time I did it was with graphic design also. And nobody cared. People want to connect, you know? We're all human beings. And so when you go to social media, you want to talk to a real person, have a conversation, you know? Feel like you're heard and listened and being able to share things as well. Hey, him, Debbie, I hadn't thought of it that way exactly, but it makes sense. I agree too. And Liam, you say I deleted everything off ArtStation because them letting AI do things. That's another topic, but we can talk about that another time for sure. Yeah. And then you say me too. So anyhow, so that's another lesson that I learned about portfolio. And so what I have these days, I have my portfolio on, I think my back muscle is too big here. I have my portfolio on Behance, and I'm only showing on it what I actually want to paint, which in my case is a lot of portraits to this day. I'm trying to branch out into like different, not styles, but like more broad subjects. Such as character design, and I like lifestyle illustrations somehow. And there's a lot of artists that I follow, they do lifestyle illustration. Anyway, I'm differing from the subject here, but all that to say that whatever it's there on your portfolio essentially tells your client, you know, they can count on you for this particular style. So it's very important that whatever you show is your best work, and everything that you show you're happy with. Also another lesson, hard life lessons that I learned, putting stuff or showing stuff to my clients sometimes that I was not 100% happy with, and then they fall in love with it, and then you're forced to do it because they chose that. And that's more about like when you're doing like sketches for like a concept and you show them ideas. Very important to always show your best stuff. Then for me in these moments, I want to review my identity and create new portfolio pieces. Yeah, but you know, like another life lesson is that I have here is don't wait. You know, like I'm trying to change my style right now and add some more stuff, but don't wait. If you want to make the switch, you can add these pieces, but just always be careful of what you're showing. It tells the story of who you are as an artist, what you like to work with, what you're good at. And another hard life lesson is you'll be judged by your worst pieces, not your best. Always by your worst pieces. So if you put in 10 great pieces and there's one that you don't really like, but you're like, oh, you know, I'm going to add it because I did it, chances are that that's the one that's going to stay in the head of the client even more. Because these are not fans or followers. They're potential clients. They want to hire you. And so if they see something bad, they'll be like, you know what? Sometimes he's not giving his best effort. Whatever reason they can put in their head. Getting out of your comfort zone is often a good thing. So that's very true. You never know if you can be good at something if you don't try it. Also very true. Sounds cheesy and motivational movie. Yes, also very true. But that's okay. Cheesy is good sometimes. So you're all social media not suitable for portfolio. Are there any exception, like for instance, ArtStation? ArtStation is has a portfolio section now, a little bit like Behance, where it's a social media and a portfolio at the same time, and I think that's fine. That's 100% fine. It's just you have to understand that social media and portfolio are just two things. One attracts conversations with your fans and can definitely attract potential customers and clients, but they're meant for connecting. Where a portfolio is truthfully a window into the potential work you're able to produce as an artist or as whatever art you are, you know? So there's that. And when you start, when you're like a beginner artist and you're not quite sure what you want to do, that's fine. Definitely explore. And that's where like you should definitely try a few things and see what works, what doesn't for you, and what not. But will come a time where you have to make a decision, or at least have some sort of direction. And that's where having like a little bit of a more niche approach to your portfolio will help a lot. Let me know if all of this makes sense to you guys. Okay, I'm not quite sure what happens behind the hair here, so I'm just gonna put like a shape for now. Trying to get the basic. If you participated into the 1 week character challenge that we had this year, or if you saw the videos that are still on YouTube to this day, then you know that I like to always do a construction phase, and this is pretty much what I'm doing here, where I'm not too worried about being perfect. Just trying to get what I want from this sketch, and then I'm gonna have a pass on it with cleaner lines. Material here, 23:55 p.m. So good night. Good night to you, my man. Take your rest. See you next time. Or is it good night as in hello? Either or. Alan, thanks for the insight. You're absolutely welcome. If you have questions, please, by all means, I would love to answer them to the best of my capacity. So yeah, that's what I had to say about portfolio. If you guys have any questions about it, by all means, I'm here to help. So yeah, let's see if we can kind of put a nose on this guy. An ear. It's a lot of floppy things on him. I think I'm gonna treat that with a lot of flow and floppy texture. It's gonna be a little bit more experimental. You can definitely use the Daily 5 challenge to, you know, develop your own style. Someone was talking about style earlier. Try new things with every prompt every day. See what you like, what you don't like. Learn from your mistakes. Really, it's only by doing mistakes that you learn the most. Liam, I don't care about getting hired. In fact, I don't think people deserve art. That's an interesting perspective. If they want to buy it up for profit. Okay. If they wanted to buy it for profit, I don't care about it. That's an interesting perspective. I think for me, it's not a question of deserving. It's a question of services, you know. There was a comparison when I started to be an artist that someone told me, like, you know, it's not about the importance of art in general or the importance of any other profession. Think about a lawyer. If you need to go to court, you'll pay a lawyer and you'll pay whatever they ask you or whatever you can pay them because you need the services, right? If you don't go to court, lawyer comes to your door and say, hey, do you want to hire me? You'll be like, I don't have use for you. I don't really care. Artist is the same profession, you know? If you need an artist to design whatever they needs to be for design, you know, an illustration for a product or publicity or whatever it is, then the value is in the service. The value is in the request. The value is in the eyes of the client, really. different clients, different values. It's not about you as an artist. It's about the value that's given for whatever the project is. If you are a big company like Coca-Cola that needs an illustration for the holiday to promote their Coke during the holiday, and they want a Santa Claus, Christmas Santa Claus to promote it, it's going to go into millions of viewers all over the world, international campaign. That character is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, because Coca-Cola is going to make thousands, if not millions, of dollars with it, right? If your neighbor needs a avatar illustration to put on their Facebook, make no money with it, this illustration is worth a lot less. It's a question of the value that the client will get out of your work as well. I think I diverged on the tangent, but it's a piece of information that's very interesting. So I think you were talking about deserving. It's not about deserving. It's about people that have a use for your skills or don't have a use for your skills. And you need to find the people that have a use for your skills. And this is where AI comes as a big slap in the face of all artists, because now there's a huge gap of potential clients that had small budget, and it was great for up and coming artists that were working on their skills, being able to do certain commissions but not others, because they're still learning. A lot of those clients, they're not going to go to illustrators no more. They're going to go towards AI, or at the very least try, because it's a cheaper, faster solution for them. But the big clients like Coca-Cola, they're not going to use AI. First of all, there's right infringements, and they will go towards artists, and that's at the least that's what I'm perceiving that's going to happen in the future. That looks really good. Thank you, Kush. It has been difficult for me to define my style. It is as if I have not finished perfecting that. It takes time. Don't look. It's going to evolve all the time. My style evolves all the time. You're absolutely right. How does one create interest in a composition? I struggle with composition a lot. I understand. Panda, I appreciate the question. These are not meant to be teaching, really. I give some bits of information, but I'm gonna keep on doing the prompt of the day. I do talk about composition at the Digital Painting Academy, though. I have a class about it in there. How do you draw distortion on object when you want to give movement and sensation? It's about perspective and foreshortening a lot, I'd say. A fast word hit. That's the same thing. You would have to add some blur effects, I guess, to it, but I'm not going to show it today in this. These are not meant to teach. They're just meant for like chilling. YouTube, sorry, I didn't want to ignore you guys. Dan, to have a focus on what I'm looking for, I guess it's better to take the task of the day than to do from day one. Sorry, I feel like it's out of context. I don't know what you're talking about on this. If you want to give me more information. And hi, Mr. Krokayan 1. Sorry if I mispronounced that. How you doing? All right, I've been talking. Let's try to push this illustration a little bit more. I got my loose sketch. I'm gonna do a kind of a more refined sketch. I think I'm gonna change the music to something a little bit more upbeat, so that I pick up on the pace. Because I really like to finish the illustrations I'm doing in these sessions, so I would like to add some colors to it. All right. I don't want to add too many details to this because it's where am I? Oh, there we go. I don't want to add too many details because it's not supposed to be a piece that you see from close up. I'm probably going to just add some values and colors on it instead of adding details. Hey Divi, the music that I'm listening to is it's a playlist on Epidemic Sound. Make sure that I don't get flagged by the algorithm of YouTube for copyright infringement of music. So I'm paying a subscription to Epidemic Sound that has free of copyright music. So that's what we're listening to. I don't know what's the title of this song. Let me check. It's called Your Soul is Blue. These are made by not like popular artists, but more like other kind of musicians. And this playlist, I called it Layback, because you can create your own playlist and basically just put that in the background. So that's what I'm doing today. And Dan, you were saying the 85. So to have a focus on what I'm looking for, this is where I take the task of the day. Then from the day one. Yes. Yes. You can, for the 85, you can, you can do as you prefer. If you want to start from the day one, even if the month has started already, that's fine. Or if you want to jump on the same day as you start, your the challenge. Let's say you start today. You can start with this prompt. It's 100% up to you. At the end of the day, it's not about being perfect. My motto is always finish is better than perfect, and there's never a better moment than now to get you started. So if you feel like you want to start with a prompt of the same day, go for that. Also, you don't have to do all the prompts. The idea is not to feel deflated if you couldn't do them all during the month. The idea is to get you some structure. Yeah, I think you were saying that already. Some structure to help you with your studies. Because there's a huge part of the time that we lose as artists when we're like learning that is lost into like looking for ideas, looking for reference pictures, looking for what I'm going to paint next and looking for inspiration. And so sometimes when you have challenges like the 85 that have already kind of like a schedule, it just gives you the opportunity to not have to think about those things and just start right away with your illustration. Sitting down and getting to work. Let's So that's one of the advantages, I'd say. Celestine, I just did my dessert rock daily. And Shaquina from the DPA. Hey, Shaquina. You guys have all so many different names. It's hard for me sometimes to follow up. And I still find them challenging, but I enjoy them. Yeah. If you're talking about the dessert rock in the DPA, that was a really fun one to do. Textures and generals are super fun to do, and it's definitely a good exercise for Iffy if you're doing Princess of Mars. I don't remember which one you're doing, which brief. If people that don't know what Iffy is, Iffy stands for Illustration for Imagination, and it's my mentorship program that I open the door only once a year. We opened them, it was almost 2 months ago already, and students are finishing their portraits, their posters. I'll be sharing their work when it's over. Devi, holy duck, sleeping is beating me down. I have to go, but this was the best time of the day, without a doubt. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Enjoy your sleep. Take your rest. We'll see you next time. Yeah, see you another time. Alright, let's push that more. I don't want to go into too much detail. Also, like, I just want to get something that's a little bit more information for me to add some color to it, but I don't want to get too, like, I'm not going to go and paint like too much anatomy, because most of it here is going to be just value and light, I think. There's definitely something's happening with the top here. I think the perspective is a little wrong, but we'll have to deal with that for now. And so at this point for the clothing, I think I can just kind of like keep things loose. They're not exactly like, the proportions are not all there. That's okay. It's still gonna be fun to paint. I was I was having a fun time the other day. I downloaded an app on my iPad that gives you some very nice line art from different artists, and all you have to do is to add the color to it. And I thought to myself, maybe it's something that I could create for my students as well, because I feel like the sketch, at the very least for me, the sketch is always the hardest part. Rendering, it's where I have like a lot more fun, where I know and trust the process, where I know it's going to look good. The sketch part is the part where it's a little bit more stressful. You're experimenting with different things. It's not always working. There's things like perspective and composition that get into the mix. Once you have a good sketch and you know where you're going, It really just makes things a little bit easier. So yeah, I thought about that as an idea. Let me know if you're the kind of person that likes to do like coloring books or stuff like this, or you would prefer to do your own sketches like I do. I guess most of you guys would prefer to do their own sketches, but I had some fun with that app. Like I was saying, it was interesting to just kind of take out the stress of the day and just get into the coloring right away. I wouldn't do that every day, but I had a good time. It's a lot of chaos happening with all these fabrics. I'm hoping I'll be just able to kind of like add some colors to them, not stress too much about being perfect here. Alan, what do you think is better to learn first, color theory or value? Personally, I struggle with both, and then which one would be useful for character design, concept art? It's a great question, Dan. The reality is, most people that struggle with color are actually struggling with value. Value is more important. Value will help you to... Sorry guys, I'm painting it out of the box for Instagram. Value will help you with understanding how to bring a mood, how to design lighting correctly, how to render form correctly, give the illusion of three-dimensional. Colors is like the sparkle on top. Now there's values associated with each different colors, which also is very important. This is one of the reasons why I like to teach in grayscale first to my students, both into the academy and both in the illustration for imagination program. The first thing that I do is I teach them how to push their rendering in grayscale, so that they understand value first. And once they understand value, adding color is easier. And it's not to say that today I paint in grayscale first, although I could, because it's still a very good way to do things like concept art, for example, because you'll be able to change your concept with much more ease if there's no color. So for like a chain of event that you have on a project, going from the conceptualization, the basic concepts, all the ways to like the splash art that goes to promote a video game or whatever. Doing it into grayscale at the beginning will help you to make quick changes and approvals that are much faster, I think. And then you have splash art that comes afterwards, that once you have established the design of it all. So yeah, value is very important, I'd say. All right, I think I got a good base here from my character. It's not perfect, but I think I'm gonna be able to just kind of add some colors to this one and push it. By the way, if you want the same brushes that I do, if you're on YouTube right now, we have some automation that works only during during the live. So if you're watching the replay, don't put that in the comment. This is not gonna work. But if you're in the live with me, you can put exclamation mark D5 or exclamation mark daily 5, I think. And that will give you a link that will send you to the homepage of the Daily 5 challenge. And on there, you'll be able to download the brushes. I like to have just a certain amount of brushes that are... thank you, Shukem, for the wow and amazing. I like to use the same brushes on all my Daily 5s. Also, it's just a great way to like not have to think about it as well. Like it's like, all right, so I have a predefined set of brushes. And these work very well in Photoshop. I created them in Photoshop, but you can also have them in Procreate now. Since Procreate 5, all Photoshop brushes are compatible. And you're welcome, Alan. If you have more questions, by all means, I'm here. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go with painting the same colors as the reference picture that I have here for the people on Instagram. I think I'm going to just keep the background blue, at least for now. What's your YouTube channel? It's paintable .cc, I think. I just placed it in the comment for you. I think if you do, you're doing just paintable actually. I think if you just do paintable, youtube.com/paintable, I think it's gonna get you there. There should be a link also in the bio if you're on Instagram. Yeah. All right, let's try to get started with this. You found it, Joy? All right, awesome. You're welcome. So yeah, if you guys want to participate into the Daily 5 challenge, the best way to participate is to join the tribe. Tribe is the Discord community that we have. We call it the Paintable Tribe. And honestly, it's one of the friendliest community out there. We don't accept or tolerate anybody with just bad vibes. We try to moderate it with some, some just easy to follow rules, which is just like be respectful. And we have great moderators that I want to say hi to. They're doing an amazing job. And we have Ray, our person in charge of student happiness and community, that also does an incredible job helping us with building an amazing Discord. Sorry. He is looking pretty paintable now. Yeah. Yeah. We'll make there, and I guess it's a great word of play there. Or play of word, however it's said. Just trying to do the flat colors for now. I'll paint some values and different colors in it in a second. There we go. It's a good start. Joy, can I also get the brushes? Yes, you can just do the exclamation mark D5. It's gonna give you the brushes. If you do the exclamation mark tribe, it's gonna give you a link to the tribe. There's one right now that I'm seeing in YouTube. And Ray, since I joined Paintable this month, hearing you talk about the thought process behind it, it is interesting. I still say you need to add a Procreate equivalent of instruction. Yes, I understand. Procreate being so popular and so many artists, enthusiasts, you know, beginners and aspiring pros are using it. So I understand. But the truth is I'd rather create classes that teaches how to paint, how to develop your own skills with whatever medium, because the medium doesn't matter. I understand when you have in between that beginner to advanced where you're trying to pass that, software can get in the way sometimes. That's totally understandable. But truthfully, if you learn your software, which is Procreate, I'm assuming, to a point that you know all the equivalents, you'll be able to follow all my classes without sweat. I know because I got tons of students that did it before. And I only have a few classes at the beginning of the learning path inside the Digital Paint Academy that teaches you how to work with certain software specific of Photoshop, but it's not even that specific to Photoshop. It's just that I show them on Photoshop. And so things like layers and brushes and all of that, you'll find all of that on Procreate or on any other software for that matter. There's a few things like how I manipulate the layers in Photoshop that Photoshop only is able to do. There's a lot of them though that you can find also in Procreate. It's just there's a different way to obviously play with them. So it's really just a question of knowing your software. And I don't want to frustrate anybody. I understand that it's frustrating when your software is in your way. But truthfully, I don't think I'll ever create a Procreate only class. There's a lot out there done by artists that only do Procreate. And if you take one of those beginner class, you'll know your software perfectly. And then you can come back to the Digital Paint Academy and I'll help you to level up your skills, if that makes sense. Let's put some more colors on this guy. Then you say you like Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, I keep hearing lots of great things about Clip Studio Paint for real. I sort of kind of tried it once back in the days, but you know what it is. Once you know a software, it's just hard to go away from it. So I'm never really pushed towards it. But I remember having a conversation with one of the great artists that I love to follow. I'm having a blank. Jesus. Mel. Damn it. Mel. That's gonna come back. But I was having a talk with him, and I know he was using Clip Studio Paint. And even at the time, I think he was saying it because one of the reasons was he was able to just paid once for it, and that was done. Done deal. Liam's Photoshop has some nice colors, blending and softness, and Procreate is just crazy tool. Yeah, I think both of them actually have like some really nice way to blend and yeah. I mean, I was a huge fan of Procreate when I first started to learn about illustration and stuff. Well, here's a live slice of story that I haven't told to a lot of people. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to, kind of explore the world, and I ended up going to Berlin instead. But I think a year before, or maybe a couple of years before, I was trying to become a lumberjack, which is funny. But for real, I was talking with a friend. He was a lumberjack, and what he was doing is he was a lumberjack like seasonal. So he was doing that, I think, during the winter, or was it during the summer? Whatever period of the day, of the month, whatever, the year. And my goal was to literally buy an iPad, put Procreate on it, become a lumberjack, make a bunch of money because it was very lucrative, and then learn how to draw on Procreate in the woods. And it was a very romantic vision of doing all of that. Didn't happen. What happened is the person that was supposed to give us contact to be able to be a lumberjack kind of was very flaky, because it was me and a friend. We were like ready to just leave our Montreal life. We were kind of done. What you have to know is when I was in my 20s, I was doing a lot of parties, and I was kind of done with the party scene. I wanted something that was, I don't know, just healthier. And, so anyhow, yeah, I bought the iPad, and I was thinking like, all right, so I'm going to become a lumberjack, and I'm going to go do some drawings in the woods. And I thought at that point that I would, learn Photoshop. Procreate this way. But I didn't. So I stuck to, I stayed in Montreal and learned to play with Photoshop instead. So just a slice of my life story. The software is only a tool, says Dan. Yes, it is only a tool. It's your visions, your head, your concepts that are the most valuable tools or the most valuable assets that you may have. Alan, lumberjack, you do look like one. An artist and lumberjack combo. It's peak masculinity. I don't know about that, but yeah, I guess the beard and the Canadian fits the standards of a lumberjack, I guess. But yeah, little slice of life right there. Alright, I'm taking my sweet time with this one, but that's okay. It's crazy that when I'm not doing a live, not to brag, but these illustrations can go into like an hour, half an hour. But as soon as I talking, it's like every time I talk, I lose focus of what I'm trying to do. Like there's such thing as like momentum when you're doing an illustration. When you get in the flow and the beat. I think pretty much with everything, I guess, in life, you get to a flow and then it goes faster. And I think I'm not able to do two things at the same time. You know what? I don't think I'm not able to do two things at the same time. I think I know that. My wives know that. Each time I'm doing something and she's talking to me, I lose track. If you're listening, honey, I'm sorry. I like to pay attention. I just get distracted. Alright, let's try to add some colors. Like I said, I don't want to go into like rendering this guy too much. I'm gonna try to just add some basic rendering to it and keep the whole illustration a little bit more like artist feeling. With some textures and whatnot. Starting with the shadows. Andy, are you still accepting students in your classes? And if so, are the classes on a mandated day? Are they asynchronous during college? I don't know what asynchronous means, but let me tell you about it. So there is multiple classes you can get from me. I do standalone classes. I have a membership website and I have a mentorship program. So the mentorship program is the Illustration from Imagination. That was a couple of months ago. I only launch once a year, and the next one I'm going to launch will be probably next year. Why? Because I spent literally all my time in there helping my students, giving them feedback. It takes a lot of my time, and so I don't have the time capacity to do it more than once a year. But I'm always having a blast doing it. And this year was no exception. I had a great time. And we're still running. We still have another couple of weeks, I think. The other thing that you can join, it's a membership website called the Digital Paint Academy, where I literally have all my material, or 99% of my material, in there. So when you join the Academy, you get access to all the videos that are already recorded. I have a learning path step by step that you can follow that is designed to help you paint from imagination, really. I'm teaching you everything that you can learn from just a little bit of everything, like lighting, sketching, coloring, lighting from imagination, a bit of perspective, composition, and I show you also step by step on how to paint more complex illustration in there. So there's everything in there. There's also a giant section called the Deep Dive Library right now, where you have all the small classes that are very concentrated on like specific topics. I'm going to do another one this week, because sometimes I do these live. So there's a live component as well during the DPA. So I'm doing a live on the 11th on Sunday, I think, about gesture drawing and how to draw characters, with a focus on how to think about perspective when you're doing it, and a few other things. These are more structured lives. They're not like what I'm doing here today. I come up with actionable steps, actionable homeworks and exercises, and then once the recording is done, I add that to the DPA. So you always have a giant bank of classes that you can go through. So that's the other thing. And then you have standalone classes and bundles packaging. If you're going to paintable.cc/store, you'll be able to access some of the classes that I'm selling standalone, and what should we call it? Bundles. Like we did, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago. I was selling a huge deal on the Portrait Artist Bundle, which is 13 of my best classes about portraiture, essentially. So I do that from time to time. I just give a big discount on some of my classes. These are all the classes. If you need more, help to know which classes would be perfect for you, believe it or not, I read all emails that are sent to me. And you can reach me at hello@paintable.cc. And if you have, if you want to know which one would be fitting best for you based on what you want to learn or where you are as an artist, just send me an email. I'll definitely push you in the right direction. Hopefully this is answering your question. And thanks for asking. I always appreciate questions. about anything. Are you drawing on screen or on iPad? Or on a pad? Oh, you mean like a desktop tablet? I'm on a screen right now. This is right here. This is the screen tablet. I'm drawing on a Huion Canvas 24K Pro, I think it's called. I got that about a year ago, maybe a year and a half. And it really changed the way I do my art. I don't think I'll be ever able to go into a small tablet. I'm super grateful that Huion actually gave it to me to do a review, and it became my #1 tool. Before that, I was using a desktop tablet. Yeah, before that I was using a desktop tablet. But now that I tasted the big screen, I don't think I'll ever go back. I was always looking with a lot of desire the Wacom tablets, but they were always just too expensive, and this one is kind of like a mid-range. It's a very, very good tablet, and it doesn't break the bank, because I think it's like $1,000. No, I'm not gonna say $1,000 is no money. It's expensive, it's money, but the same quality at Wacom will cost you $3,000. And that's an ouch on the budget. So yeah. All right, I'm going to try to concentrate a bit more and try to push this illustration a little bit more. It'd be nice to have something to show before we hit the marks of the 2 hours. If you're participating into the Daily 5 challenge, and you should, you don't have to push your illustration all the time like this, you know? The idea is to spend 5 minutes every day doing a quick sketch to help you, you know, push your skills. You don't have to spend, like what I'm spending during these lives, like a couple of hours and a half on one illustration. You can spend just 5 minutes on doing a quick sketch. The idea is really to just kind of develop an art habit of showing up and doing a little bit of work every day. That's the goal of it all. How do you come up with concepts? How do you come up with concepts? Very interestingly enough, that's something also that I talk about in the DPA. Creating concepts, to me, comes by starting with a brief. You know, having like a client giving you constraints itself will help you with bringing concepts, because truthfully, and this is not concept, by the way, what I'm doing, just this is a study slash having some fun. But when you want to paint an illustration that, you know, has more complexity, something with a concept, basically, it's about storytelling, really. Being able to tell a story through images. That's how you do it. And anything can be a concept, you know, like think about movies that you like and the way the stories are told, and try to find what you like into that story. Characters, characters from any kind of, here, there's one that comes to mind, is like the Marvel series. We were talking about that, I think, last week. How those characters have just like amazing stories that are super inspiring. And what you want to do is, on an image, you want to try to tell those stories, essentially, through images. Like this guy's story, for example. You know, the clothing tells a story, the position he has tells a story. He's clearly like looking for a fight. I mean, this guy is a total poser right now, because that's just a reference picture that he was probably doing. But sometimes you look at movies and you can look at like a action scene and just get inspired from a battle scene or something like that. And you want to tell the story of that moment or that character. Hopefully that's answering your question. And if you were talking more about something like how do you build an illustration and composition, which is a different thing, there's a few rules that needs to be followed at that point, which I'm not gonna explain here today. It would be too complicated. Thank you, Liam. Beautiful Photoshop blending, you say. I appreciate the comment. I'm trying to just blend a little bit. I don't want to go overboard with this one, but it's, you know, even blending just a little bit, it sounds easier than done, really. Because I'm trying at the same time to still convey some light, but I don't want to, I don't want to blend too much. There's some light coming from the right that I want to try to place. I want to render the form, but just a little bit, not add too many details, and I certainly don't want to spend hours and hours rendering muscles. It'd be a waste of time. These sessions that I'm doing with you, I'm also looking at them as like ways for me to be more efficient with my workflow. And unfortunately, while I'm talking, I kind of lose track sometimes of my goal of efficiency, and it gets harder. But yeah, if you guys are participating with me, or with us, should I say, please join the Paintable tribe and post your work in there. I absolutely love to go there a few times a week to see the work that it's posted. You can also post it on Instagram and tag the Paintable account. That also gets to me. I'm not in love with this guy, I gotta say. I'm trying to get like the same kind of rendering that I had for this character, where it was like just a little bit of rendering, it was not too much. I might bring that here close to me so that I can see the amount of rendering that I put, because that character, which is right here again, didn't took so much time, but I feel like there was just enough rendering to like give me a good understanding of the form. So let me try to push the head just a little bit more and see if I can give to the 80-20, the 20% skills, or in this case the 20% rendering that will give 80% of the results. Kind of thing. Does it not end up so less than? Sorry, D. Can you put that in context? I'm not sure what I was saying. There's always a delay between what I say and your comments, guys. So sometimes when you answer me on the fly, I lose the context of what I just said. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Please let me know. Thanks, David. That was helpful. You're welcome. Hey, Ray. Seems like darkening the values a little on the pose would speed up the rendering and add a few highlights. Yeah, 100%. I'm just, like I always like try to like get the face to a point where I'm happy with. I'm just having a hard time with it. Happens from time to time. Also, feeling like the shape of it all. It's got too much jaw. The neck should be like closer to here. The ear is too high. Just a few things are not working. It happens, it's not every illustration that I create that I like. It's always the risk when you're doing lives as well. Is sometimes you got a bad day. And I'm not gonna say it's a bad day, but I'm just having a hard time with this one. D, if you're not doing the picture from a there's a heart there. I cannot see. From a real story with detail, it becomes bland. Yes, 100%. Yes, so less illustration are illustrations that don't have good enough storytelling. You're 100% right. I'm going to try to add some subsurface scattering a little bit to the skin, because I feel like it's missing some brighter values at some places based on the reference picture. So just trying to add that real quick with an overlay layer here. And let's try to push the clothing a little bit more. Like, my goal with this illustration was really just to kind of like study it and then have some fun and keep it loose, but I'm having a little bit more hard time than I thought I would expressing the expression of its face, and ultimately it slows me down a little. But everybody has their strengths and whatnot. Much more comfortable doing portraiture, which is not to say that the face could be, but when it's small, for some reason, it's hard. Like, because you want to like add just enough contrast, not go into too much detail, try to express the forms of things. It's like once it's small, it's like harder for some reason. I don't know if you guys agree. It's like the economy of the brush strokes becomes different. You cannot like zoom in and zoom in and zoom in and try to have it like save the work by adding more details. Like in this case, I feel like my perspective of the face is not quite there, and so I'm trying to fix it at the same time. It's always a good thing also to like, what I'm trying to do here is to go back to like more square, more geometric shapes to help you with replacing perspectives that you might have lost. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to keep things a little bit like a little bit more geometric to help me to bring back what I lost. If that makes sense. An understanding of the landscape, therein the weight of the clothing and type of tools they use. Yes, everything tells a story in an image, really. How do I transform this guy into an 80-20? Because I'm going to give myself a firm half an hour to finish it. Sometimes it's good to just kind of like go back and see like, okay, what can I do to bring this guy to something place where I'll be happy. I think I need to finish a little bit of the clothing on the skirt. Add a little bit of details in the hair. A few highlights here and there, and I think I'm going to call it a day after that. So let's try to not zoom in. Also, I've been zooming in too much, I think, for the past hour. Let's try to not zoom in this time. Change the angle of the cross guard, reduce the size of it, and fix the elbow. The references, and there's a heart there. It stops me from reading the last word all the time. More natural. Fix the elbow. Yeah, you're right. The elbow is a little it's a little hard here. So I could curve the muscle. It's a little bit more here, I guess. Vitor, incredible. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm actually keep on complaining about it because I feel like I'm having a hard time, but I appreciate the love. Alright, sorry guys, I get so concentrated. I'm just trying to really just try to push it so I can see where I'm going with it. 'Cause it's missing some values, it's missing some hues, it's missing some bunch of stuff. The biceps is too short. I made the forearm thicker. Yeah, that's true. I don't know about the forearm thicker. I feel like my forearm is quite thick already. But it's definitely missing something. Top of the forearm. What do you mean by top of the forearm? I'm not quite sure. There's something happening here, like this is supposed to kind of turn here, and I feel like the pause is not exactly accurate. I'm not going to try to fix that now though. I'm going to have to work with what I have. So at this point that, like, I know my anatomy is not accurate, but I don't think fixing the anatomy would make the illustration that much better. I'd rather probably focus on the values and overall colors, some of the textures also, and I might use for this study as well just adding some lines, not lines, but yeah, I guess lines, like sketch line on top of it to add some more details. Yeah, just little tricks to just make things read like I spend more time on it. Like what I could have done is like adding like just a texture brush, but kind of force myself these days of trying to design everything with the hard edge brush. It forces me to make decisions. And yeah, at this point I'm not even like trying to be accurate. I'm just kind of reading the illustration and seeing like where can I add where can I add visual interest. And I might start adding like little like lines and textures and whatnot. Because this is going to be a finish is better than perfect kind of illustration for me. Switch that music. Can I remove this one? If in doubt, black it out. Oh, I love this. I never heard it. If in doubt, black it out. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I'm going to do with the line work afterwards. I'm going to try to push just a little bit more. The values still. Just to add some more life to it. But yeah, I guess so. When in doubt, black it out. So when's the next one? The next one is going to be on the 14. And what are we going to do on the 14? We are going to do metal armor. That's going to be another one. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. But I had a great time when I was doing the 1 week character challenge a few months ago. One of my characters had a very shiny armor, and it was really fun to do. So looking forward to trying my way at making an armor again. Trying to push the hair. Gorquill shooting at the wall of heartache, bang bang, and the warrior. I'm not sure I understand. Sorry. Can you explain? Let's see. Just trying to add some visual interest to that necklace. I just darken the region a little. Alright, technically 10 more minutes. I think I'm gonna use this as a base, and what was the saying? When in doubt, black it out. I'll see what I can do with just some very nice just line art, seeing if I'm able to just kind of bring some interest by bringing back these lines a little bit. It's essentially like putting a sketch on that you had at the beginning. There was a question of one of my students in the illustration from imagination program that was asking me, or telling me that it was his or her style was with lines, and this is exactly what I told him. It was like, try to render it first, and then just add your line work on top of it, and it really just kind of punches out. It becomes like a little bit more like not cartoon, but kind of cartoonish effects, I guess, or you know, like line work effect, and naturally bring some interest to the piece. And if you do like even like a just decent job at rendering like I did, because I won't win prizes with this one today, but I have enough rendering to convey form, and so I'm able to accentuate just a few places. I'm gonna add details in the hair probably after. D, what are you saying? You just lost all mystery in the shadows? What do you mean by mystery? Just realized I lost you guys on Instagram. Sorry. I think I'm also painting out of sight. Anyhow, I'm gonna call this one today pretty soon because I gotta do lunch. It's almost lunchtime here. And yeah, maybe just try to add more interest in the hair a little bit with some line work. Not gonna lie, I'm not satisfied with this character today. And I'm almost glad that that happened on live, because really when I can like edit videos, I would continue working on it. But I think it's a lesson for everybody to know that everybody gets a bad day once in a while. And the idea is to not get deflated and keep on going. This is why I love so much the 85 challenge as well, because it's all about building a art habit that will allow you to navigate the ups and downs of painting art. You know, we're all getting deceived on social media by people that only share their work on their best days. And truthfully, it's just misleading. I got plenty of not good days. I usually don't broadcast them live, but you don't always the control over that. But this one was interesting. I think I could have stopped at the sketch instead of pushing it harder. Although I do feel like the line art is adding a little to it. Not much, but a little to it. This is a bad day. Can't wait for when a bad day at painting as good at this. You know, truthfully, again, yeah, for me this is a bad day, but we're always, our brains are always comparing ourselves to someone in front of us, someone that has reached the goals that we have set for ourselves. And goals are like personal to each other, right? A good day, a bad day for me could look for a good day for someone else, and vice versa. It's all about personal experiences, I guess. But yeah, you're right. You know, if the young artist that I was when I started sees this illustration, probably would have the same answer. If that's a bad day, what's a good day, or whatever. But we're all usually the worst judges of our own art. Tortured artist soul of some sort, I guess. I fit the cliche like anybody else, I guess. That's just part of the journey. Yeah. If that makes sense. All right, 2 more minutes to my clock. What can I do in 2 more minutes to just kind of push this a little bit more? think I can soften the face a little bit. Don't think it doesn't have to be like so hard. All right, you guys, I'm gonna call this a day. Thank you so much for joining me live, for all of you guys. Bad day, more or less. What's still a good time? I'm looking forward to see you all on the 14th. We're going to do the prompt of the day, which is metal armor. And I always like to paint metal. There's something just satisfying about adding highlights, making them, making those reflection kind of reflect the environment around it. And I'm just looking forward to do it again. I used to like never touch metal, and I don't know what changed. Like about, I don't know, like a few months ago, I think I just wanted to like paint a little bit more metal, and I did a few studies, and I was like, you know what, that's not so scary. Painting metal doesn't have to be scary. So I'm looking forward to paint metal with you guys. In the meantime, have a great rest of the week, a great weekend after that. And keep up the good work. Keep painting. It's a good time, says Dan, and Ray, enjoy lunch. Thank you so much. I'm quite hungry, so I'll definitely enjoy lunch. All right, you guys, have a good one. Happy painting. Looking forward to see you in the tribe as well. Keep sharing your work. It's always great to see it. So yeah, see you soon.